Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. It's time for June Waffle. I have my trays all here across the back. I also have my diamonds. I have them a couple of different sides. If you saw my kitting up, I'm trying a new way of doing things and putting diamonds into trays and using them straight out of trays. So I have them all labelled up here and in the tray storage, which is in the country, by the way. This tray storage has reached the UK and hopefully it will be with us soon and we can get that sorted out. But it's June waffle time. Let's see how long it takes me to complete a section. But the first day is day 20. So let's see. I know I've cut through the washi tape. Let's see if I've actually cut through the plastic piece underneath. Okay, that's just pulling washi tape up. So let me try and get to the plastic underneath. I'm sure I checked one of the other sides, but have we cut through the plastic as well? Okay, this is going to be fun. Let me just see if I can get hold of it. I'm wondering whether I've only managed to cut through the washi. Trying to get hold of the clear cover, preferably without trashing the rest of the painting. It's not that corner, it's down here. Let's try actually where we've cut. So the washi tape is not sticky enough to be pulling up the clear cover at the same time. Though it's pulled up some of it there. Okay. Maybe I should have just stuck with what I know. And stuck with cover paper because this is ripping. Okay, so I have cut the washi tape, but I don't know whether it's cut through the plastic enough. So I'm just going down it again to see if I can actually get hold of one piece, because I think the piece I tested was the corner, not somewhere in the middle. And that's ripped it as well. Okay. It's official. I should just stick to cover paper. So it's like I've managed to cut through enough to get the washi tape, but not enough to get the actual cover paper. So let's try again. We're going to have an entertaining time each time it comes to doing a section, by the looks of it. Okay, have I got it all? Just this corner. If something doesn't stick, at least I know why. Oh no, I have got that corner. It's sticky. It's this top corner I've not got. There we go. Okay, fun start to the June waffle, but I now have a section. I have lots of bits of plastic, but I now have a section. So I will keep this knife handy to make sure that I can go over any bits I need to. But yeah, I have got all sticky now. So where should we start? That is the question. We need a pen. So to start with a pen, this one, I'm going to start with this It's a blue pen. This was a gift from Janet Morris. So thank you, Janet. I'm going to start with your pen, or my pen from you, for the first day of June Waffle. I am just going to see if I can trim just a little bit further down here to give me this extra row. And let's see if by actually cutting through this just a little bit more before I lift it up, if I can get both the washi tape and the clear cover. Yes, I can. Okay, so that's what I need to do. I just need to trim over things a little bit more before I pick them up. So we have a pen. The question is whether I start with the letter D or whether I actually start with the white. I think I'm going to start with the white, which is 3756. So this is my tray for 3756. None of them yet have colours in them. Because I didn't want to create, I didn't want to deal with a couple of weeks of having to move this tray organiser about before June Waffle started and actually have to deal with trays with diamonds in. So I kitted up purely into containers. So I've put quite a lot of diamonds in because they're going to be staying in here. So I'll give it quite a bit of a shuffle, put my little remnants over this side is the way I like to do it. And we're off. June Waffle has officially started. First diamonds are placed on this biggest painting I've done in a June Waffle yet. I hope everybody's got their painting to do, whether it be a current WIP, a current work in progress, maybe you're trying to clear the decks and get through a few that you've already started, or maybe you're like me doing a new one. Whether you're doing the sections in order or out of order is up to you, but I do post in the Facebook group the evening before. So the post goes up the night before for those that are in the countries that are in the future. I do pop it up for them. Do you know what I'm thinking? I need to move. I need to shuffle a couple of these trays. This is probably not going to help me, but I want to shuffle. So these trays are ones that I don't have any colours in. I'm going to have to move these. Oh, I put them in number order, didn't I? Numbers and symbols together, so that I can scoot my painting up but still be able to access everything. And hopefully you guys can see a little bit better the section that I'm doing. I might just have to move it down when I grab a tray. Let's see if that works a little bit better. But I like to do a straight line when I'm sort of giving myself an edge, which in this case is around a section of the ribbon and across the bottom here on my section as well. I sort of like to box in my section where possible, trying to make sure that I just pick up one diamond. I'm not ready to multi-place yet. I might do in the future, but I'm not ready to multi-place with squares yet. Even when I do multi-place, it's very rare that I will multi-place in the first section I do of a diamond painting. I don't know if anybody else is like that. When you start a diamond painting, so anybody that multi-places regularly, when you start a diamond painting, do you multi-place from the off? Or do you feel like you need to do a section nice and neatly and do your corners nice and neatly before you dive in to multi-placing? Let me know. but I feel like I need to do a nice straight edge section before I dive in multi-placing. I don't know, I just feel like it's got to be done that way. These are resin diamonds, so I am finding the odd little diamond with a bubble in them. So I'm just getting rid of those into my trashy as I go along. Because I'm working out of the tray, these diamonds are going to haunt me anyway. They're going to be used until I want to fill up my tray again. Okay, my glue dot is stickier than my diamond. Let me try taking that off and try again. There we go. It was definitely sticking. It wasn't a piece where I had some clear cover left over. It just decided it wanted to stick to the pen a little bit more than it wanted to stick to the canvas. So sometimes when that happens, I feel like I just need to take the diamond off the pen altogether and try again. Try picking up a fresh diamond. I did try bringing my easel in for doing this painting, but it's just not working. Not working with the positioning of this painting and stuff. But yeah, chats during June Waffle. First off, I am going to go through any comments and questions that have been left on previous Whip and Waffles. So both my Heaven and Earth design waffles and my Sunday Whip and Waffles. Go through those comments, otherwise people have to wait more than a month to get any sort of response to comments or questions. And then of course I'll be flowing into comments left on June Waffle. There's going to be quite a few giveaways in this June Waffle as well. They will be at random times on random days, and they will be open for 24 hours from when they're announced. They'll be open for 24 hours. I've got quite a few different things lined up to give away, so do stay tuned for details on how to enter those when they do come up. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Take your time, take a little bit of time each day to diamond paint. And if this is your first waffle that you're watching, then just join in. Just pick your current diamond painting, do a little bit each day. My video will be here 4 p.m. each day of the month of June, where I will complete a section of this painting. But any amount of time of that you can join in and do a bit with us, all the better. I realise that not everybody will be able to do every day. Things do crop up. As you guys are watching this, hubby and I are actually having a few days away. It worked out with hubby taking time off and Megan being available to watch Luna. So I've actually filmed this little bit in advance. I've got a little bit of a plastic part of a drill on my canvas. I was just trying to get it off so that my diamond can actually stick. Yeah, so I've actually filmed this in advance. Of course, I need to do every day because that's the idea of the event and a video being up. But there are times when I may film a couple of them in one day, knowing full well that something is coming up for me the following day. And it may be that if you've divided a painting up, you do the same. Or it may be that you just skip that day. And if you skip that day, fair enough. You know, life does happen. It doesn't pause for every event we want it to pause for. So by all means, you know, take a day when life gets busy, when something a bit different to the normal's happening, but just try and either carve yourself out a little bit of time for something else. I mean, I class going away with hubby as me time anyway, so tick done for me. And maybe something that you're doing does become your own me time. Or maybe you just have to make sure that you treat yourself to a soak in the tub at the end of your day and take your me time that way, depending on what you've been doing that day. But yeah, comments, questions, etc. So I've got a few comments from a whip and chat a couple of weeks ago. And this is me working on my Dreamer Designs painting, which is my ongoing whip that I work on outside of working on this. So I do this a section each day, and if I still want to diamond paint, or I have a bit more time in an evening when I want to diamond paint, that's when I'll do my Dreamer's Designs or maybe a Paint Gem Mini. But the comments were left on that one. So Maria says, hi Rebecca. She says, such a beautiful canvas that you're working on. She says she enjoys single placing. She enjoys single placing, but sometimes she does use the 4-placer. She said it's the only one that she can put her drills on straight with. She says she's ordered a light blue zesty tray and it's on its way. She said it's to go with her beige one. Yeah, I think that beige one was highly underrated. A highly underrated tray. I love that tray. I love the beige tray. I'm actually thinking of doing the colour again in a large painting. Some of the pale trays do sometimes get a little bit overlooked, and actually they can be amazing to work with, especially beige. Like, we do have some beige diamonds, but not as many as we might do of other colours. So most colours stand out when working on those. And that's why I think, oh, that one didn't stick. I've just realised it's still stuck to my pen. I think I have a glue dot that still needs a bit of priming. But yeah, I do think the beige was highly underrated. She says, wish you and your family a great week. Thank you ever so much, Maria. I hope you've had an amazing week, and I hope your tray has turned up safe and well. If not, I'm sure it won't be long, depending on where you're based. We do try and get orders out within 24 hours, unless stated otherwise on the listing. So there are a couple, well, there's mainly one item. Sometimes there ends up being 2 or 3 items, depends on the time of year, that can take a little bit longer to be dispatched, but it is in the listing of why that might be. Mainly custom things, and then of course there will be advent things potentially, but they'd have a big pre-order in the first part. Nellie says, hi Rebecca. She says she's so pleased that I'm trying to multi-place. Yes, primarily with my round diamond painting. I may end up trying it with this. We shall see how we go. I do feel that with the amount of white that is in this painting, it might be an ideal one for me to try. But as of yet, I haven't. And you may notice that I have moved my tray right on top of my sticky section. However, because I've done this bottom row, it's actually lifting the tray up. It's not actually sticking. And this bit here, it's not actually sticking in any way to the canvas because I've already popped those diamonds down. So I am going to go back to working a little bit more from down here. I change about where I decide I want to start working from, and I go through different phases. Sometimes I will do the step method, but I will only do like 3, 4 or maybe 5 rows, and I'll find myself counting. So this one is like a row of 4, so I'll find myself counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way through. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll do a step and then I'll do a long row. I'll do a step and I'll do a long row, just to make it feel as though I'm getting somewhere with the big colours, with the big colour blocks. But I do actually love a good bit of colour blocking. I must admit I do prefer it when I'm diamond painting on my own rather than a whip and waffle, but that's only because I do tend to zone out a little bit when I'm placing a single colour, and I can't zone out when I'm doing a whip and waffle. Right, let me get rid of that one, it's got a little hole in it. Try and actually drop it in my trashy tray. Only a tiny little air bubble hole, but I have plenty of these diamonds, so I really do not need to pop one with a little tiny hole on it, even though I probably wouldn't be able to find it again if I tried. Nellie says she likes to watch a person doing diamond painting without multi-placement. She says, like the way you did it. She said single placing, she said you do it different to the other people that diamond paint. She says that's why she loves to watch my videos. Well, I don't think you'll find me multi-placing all the time, Nellie. I don't think it's something that I will be doing constantly. But I, you know, especially likes of now, until I get a lot more confident in multi-placing for sure. And I don't have to think and concentrate about what I'm doing anywhere near as much. So there'll still be lots of times when I single place. But yeah, I do find that everybody does work a little bit differently. And it's kind of nice to watch all the different ways that people work that may or may not help you. I know there are people that like to do the checkerboard method with squares. I personally prefer the step method, or even indeed the straight line method and doing a straight line with it. And that's why they're often the two that I will interchange. So I might do this step but then decide to do this line. So I feel as though it's getting smaller and smaller as I go on a lot. Some of it depends on my mood. Some of it depends, like here, as I'm coming down this step now. This part has purple underneath, so it doesn't have like an outline to the section. And that's why I end up going across, because I'm framing up the section of white. And sometimes I'll just stop there and I'll just do a frame round, and sometimes I'll carry on all the way across. And I keep shaking my diamonds over because I like my diamonds to take the quickest route they can from tray to canvas, because that is actually, I find that's quicker. I'm saving time by not dragging my diamond a longer distance. So I like to use up all the excess until I've got to the point that all my diamonds are lay flat, and then I will use up half of the tray, and then I'll actually turn the tray around to use the other half, again to keep the distance short, sweet, to the point, and get my diamonds placed as quick but as straight as I can. So I like to mix it up a little bit. It keeps it a little bit varied, and every now and then you'll see me place a diamond down, but then maybe I'll I'll give it a nudge of some sort. Sometimes I'm nudging the diamond to be straight. Sometimes I'm actually nudging the diamond next to it to make that one straighter. And I quite often do that with my single placer. Sometimes I use a straightener, but quite often just messing about with my single placer can be enough to at least get them looking as straight as possible. But looks pretty. It's going to look so pretty when I add the purples and the blues. Stephanie, she said she lives in the UK, and she said she was horrified at the green gravy on pie and mash. There are some food combinations that other people just cannot fathom at all. One of my memories as a child actually was there was a bowl on the windowsill when we came like downstairs for the morning, and for some reason we happened to ask, you know, what had been eaten. And apparently the night before, we were quite young at the time, the night before my parents had had a sort of youth group meeting for the church youth group at our house, and they did sort of a bit of, you know, write down, I think it was a write down a fact about you that nobody else knows, one of those sort of activities. And somebody had put that they like to eat tomato ketchup and ice cream, and it was probably the person who it was the last person in the room that they expected it to be. Yeah. If you think of a room full of people that you know and think who would be least likely to eat tomato ketchup with ice cream, it was that person. So, of course, they had to have this fact proven. So, yeah, there was a bowl on the side that was clear, you know, like it needed to go. It needed to go in the dishwasher, but it was as clear as it could be. And it did originally have ice cream and tomato ketchup in it. That is one memory from my childhood. And no, I have never tested as to whether that is something that I like to eat or not. But yeah, the green gravy, I don't quite get the green gravy at all, to be honest. I don't quite know what that is. I suppose without knowing what it contains, yeah, my first thought is what the heck. But whether it'd be something I'd be willing to try, I'd need to know what green gravy is. What is green gravy? What does that contain? Cheryl, she says, Eugenia, she says, where did you get your Native American diamond paintings? She says she is part Native American and she's always looking for Native American paintings. So if you could let us know, Eugene, we will pass that on. That was also a comment left on the most recent in the list of me working on my Dreamers designs. So if you did want to reply, you want to go to the most recent video of my Dreamer designs with a whip and waffle and the questions in there. Or of course, just leave a comment on this video and we'll discuss it in a few days when the answer comes up. Emily said that I did a great job multi-placing. Thank you, Emily. She said she also prefers to do it vertically and not horizontally. Now, somebody did mention, I can't remember if it's a comment that I've already read out loud or whether it's a comment that's due to be read out loud, that actually, because I work on an easel normally, that might be why vertically is better for me. And they did say if you work flat, horizontal is easier to do if you're working flat. So if I do end up doing multi-placing on this in the future, then maybe I will give it a go, because I'm working on this one flat. I'm sure my neck will regret it, but it's definitely the easier way to manage it on this desk while working with the tray system. It's definitely the easiest way to do it. We shall see. If this video is a really, really long one, and therefore every day's video is going to be roughly the same length, then I might have to break out the multi-placer in a hope of not spending my life in the craft room every evening. Because I'm still on the white, people, though I've nearly gone through, well, I'm getting a good way through a full tray worth of white before it'll be classed as done. But I am determined to finish this painting. And I'm really happy that I can find a charity painting to do as well. I have, as I did mention in the unboxing video, while I unboxed this before it came out, I have paid for this painting to ensure that my donation goes to the chosen charity, because the first lot did sell out. The second lot, as I'm filming this, there was a few left. They did get some more air freighted in. But yeah, it's a great way to support a charity and get an awesome diamond painting to do as well. Does that class as a tax write-off in some countries? Because it's been donated to charity? Maybe. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Mysterious Day, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, happy Mother's Day. Thank you. I'm getting to celebrate both American and British Mother's Day at the moment, even in just a little way. She says she has washed everything but her sheets. So now she said she is just using blankets. I've had loads of washing going out the last few weeks. Catherine has just moved back from uni, and she'd managed to get her washing or laundry account with uni down to 0, and she didn't want to top it up to do her washing before she came home. So she has come home with a basket full of washing, which is fun. But her bedroom's been sorted. She's currently, as I'm filming this, she's currently sorting out all her bits and stashing her uni bits that she doesn't need until she goes back to uni. Kitchen things, bedding for uni, that sort of thing. She's currently tucking those all in various places, mainly under her bed in her room. And yeah, I finished some shelf racking and tucked Advent stuff in there, thinking I could fit all of the Advent goodies on this racking in that corner in her bedroom, because it's quite a deep alcove. It's a bit less than 1 metre wide, but it is a bit less than 1 metre deep, and it is over 1 metre high. So I thought, oh, I'll get quite a bit in there. No, I forgot how many items we had for Advent and how bulky some of them are. But it's okay, we'll be packing them up soon enough, ready to go on to their new homes. So everything will be coming out of there, and it will be completed boxes that will be getting stored back up there. She says the motivation is hard to find, she says, with a lot going on in real life and online. Definitely, when it comes to some tasks, especially if it's a task that you don't like, I find you need a deadline. We had an extremely busy week last week. Both hubby and I had an extremely busy week because we decorated 2 of the kids' bedrooms and switched them around and had a lot of organising and sorting, and of course all the stuff that comes off the back of that, because it's not just the organising and the sorting, is it? It's all the stuff that people decide they no longer want. You also have to deal with and find homes for, or, you know, take to the charity shop, or cardboard from make it from the beds and how they arrived, and yeah, just trips to the tip, trips to the charity shop, bits that float about that you have to try and find the person who put it there, so you know what's supposed to be getting done with it. It's just, but yeah, you can find it really hard to get the motivation for some things if it's something you really don't want to do. But I suppose my point on what actually motivated us to get it done is, while hubby had 2 weeks off, we actually booked to go away for the second week. Wasn't planned when he booked it off, but it did end up falling so it could work, which meant that we knew we had only a set number of days to get everything done before we were going away. Because even though we have the weekend when we get back before he's in work, we didn't think of that. We didn't think about that at all, because there's always stuff that needs doing each weekend. And we actually split the task into what we need to get done each day to enable it to be done before we went away. And some days, believe me, that was the only thing that motivated us to get going, was the fact that we had to get to this end point by the end of that day for us to be able to function, and for us to be able to move on and actually get it finished before we went away. So yeah, quite often you need to set yourself deadlines, but they need to be deadlines that are for a reason. You can't just say, oh, I want to get this done by X date. There has to be some sort of force behind it. Otherwise, it's not a true deadline. It's just a wish. It also has to be realistic deadlines. So while we set deadlines for what we wanted to get done each day, we did have 2 days this weekend, the weekend, as a buffer. And we needed that, because when we stripped the wallpaper in my son's room, we did realise that it needed a little bit more prep in there, because it was getting painted and not wallpapered again. So we actually had to move our timeline back a day and slip in a day of prepping the walls, which wasn't expected. So it does need to be flexible, but it does need to be realistic. It wouldn't have been realistic to keep the same time frame and try and squeeze in that prep work in addition to what we were planning on doing that day, which was basically painting it all. And yeah, that's the only way that we got it all done. So you sort of have to have that goal to be your motivation. She said she lives in America, in the South. She said, so it's sunny days, and 80-degree Fahrenheit weather already. Yeah, we've had quite warm weather recently. Luckily, it's not got too hot in the rooms that we've been working in, but it's definitely been. He's picked the best 2 weeks to have off. She says with her LED lights, she said it still gets bright enough, thankfully. She said today she's watching at work while Kiddo plays, and she gets a little 12 by 16. She said it's unlicensed, but she got it before she knew, and didn't want to waste it. So she's doing an Elsa photo. She said it's super cute, but it is entirely confetti heavy. Confetti heavy one. She said she's also been working on Moonlight Bath, and she started Comfortably Numb, which is also by Diamond Art Club, for when she has an itch to do squares. Yes, my Dreamer's design is a round one, and I have really enjoyed doing the Paint Gen Minis because they're square. I really enjoyed my Whip and Chat last week doing the mystery because it was square. I actually like both round and square, but I do find there's some round paintings as I go to do them, I'm like, oh yes, this is a love. Absolutely love it. So I'm hoping that doing this as a square will scratch my square itch while I'm finishing up my Dreamer designs. She says Pride is all kitted up and is hidden away in her closet. She's also asked, do you have any tips for when glue dots are super sticky? She says she's just got them and diamonds keep sticking to the pen. Yes, so this one, it keeps having moments of being super sticky, and you might not be able to see on camera, but what I actually do is lift it up and just rub it on my chin and on my cheek. You can do it on the back of your hand if that's what you prefer. You can do it onto clothing, dab it onto clothes like jeans, so it picks up a little bit of the sort of fluff and material residue on your clothes. I call it priming the glue dots, and yeah, they are extremely sticky, and actually a glue dot that looks a little bit grey and grubby is often a better glue dot for diamond painting than one that looks clear. If it looks clear, then it probably has not been primed and will be super sticky. So I often have to prime my glue dots. So I do that, and I may find that I get loads of diamonds placed, and then it will occasionally do what it's done here, occasionally not let me stick a diamond down. And when it does that, say I just dab it on my face or dab it on my clothes, and it will get going again and give me zero problems. I nearly tip those diamonds down then. I must get in the habit that I am just using trays. Okay, all the white's done, so now I am going to go to my letters. So I want the letter D, which is 208. So I'm going to tip diamonds in because of course I've got no diamonds in any of these. I'm going to tip a decent amount in. This is where I hope I never knock this tower of diamonds. But yeah, so I'm going to keep moving on. This one is the clear diamond painting tray that we did. It hasn't turned out major clear, but it's definitely a bit more see-through than not. Transparent or clear plastic for 3D printing can be extremely hard to get right, and this one was actually done right when we first started doing trays. Maybe it's something we need to give it a go again, see if we can get any better at it. Maybe next time hubby has some time off work. When he takes some more of his holidays, maybe we can figure it out then and see if we can get it to work right. So yeah, just dab it on your face, dab it on your clothes, whichever. you're either most comfortable with or whatever's closest to hand. Sometimes I dab it on cover paper sheets, you know, where it can pick up just that little bit of dust. Not enough that causes any problems, but it can just have little bits of dust on the cover paper. I use it for that as well. Not as easy to do on the clear cover. Doesn't work the same on the clear. Right, that is my letter D done. So let's pop that tray away. Okay, am I going to go for the... No, I'm going to go for this symbol before I go for the letter L, which is actually just under... Oh, we've got a bright red, and that is number 209. This is the bit that's taken me a little bit to get used to. Is the fact that my DMC, all I've used is DMC numbers on the diamonds. So I need to look up the DMC number before I know what colour to pop into my tray. But I'm doing this one first because there is a lot of L. So yeah, I want to squeeze in these ones first. Sarah B, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she is really looking forward to seeing the Diamond Art Club mystery painting. She said she also enjoyed seeing my efforts with the multiplacer. That's definitely what it felt like they were. One thing doing a learning curve, second one doing it on a whip and waffle. Definitely makes it a little bit different. Ooh, managed to pick up 2 on that one. Say my glue dot's still being primed. She says she has this feeling that I will be a pro with a multiplacer in no time. I probably need to actually use it more than I have been to be a pro. There are many evenings I'm just not in the mood for giving it a go with a multiplacer, and this past week I don't think I've really got to work on my Dreamers designs at all. So yeah, I haven't had much chance to diamond paint the last week or so. The most I've been able to do most days is 1 Paint Gem Mini, and that's because I'm trying to, you know, make myself find a bit of time to do a Paint Gem Mini a day. And it's actually sort of helped that diamond painting itch that I do get, because I do want to diamond paint. Just often by the time we've finished our tasks for the day, or I've straightened up, or we've straightened up, should I say, and sat down, I'm just like, oh, I haven't got the energy to do a big section. So yeah, Paint Gem Minis is the way forward. So I haven't multi-placed for a while. She says none of us will have any hope of keeping up with me. Yeah, we'll see how long that takes. We'll see if it develops during June Waffle as well, to the point where I get a bit more of being a pro at multi-placing. If I ever pick up a multi-placer, we shall see. I like to work with different pens on my June Waffles, so while this one does have a multi-placer in it, not all of them do. It depends on the pen I was gifted as to whether it has one or not. So we shall see. The mystery painting, I've still only done the 1 section, so I have done an unboxing on the Diamond Art Club mystery that I got. I've only shown a little bit of the canvas. I do think the image would be pretty well hidden based on the colours that Diamond Art Club have used on the canvas. However, if for any reason it wasn't, I would have spoiled it for myself and for others. So I didn't want to risk it without knowing. So I only show a very small part of the canvas. There is, of course, the colours you do get to see. And then I've done 1 section on it on last Sunday's Whip and Waffle. I did 1 section of the mystery, and I am pretty sure I am going to love doing it, and I am itching to do more. However, I am trying to get through a really good amount of my Dreamer designs before I decide to, should we say, allow myself to do another section of the mystery. That's what I'm going for. Okay, so the letter L is 210. Again, I'm just trying to make sure that I tip out loads of the diamond, or at least a good chunk of the diamonds, because they're now staying in the tray. So I'm not trying to tip out roughly how many I'm going to use. I'm tipping out loads to save myself the job later. How pretty does that look? Alaya said they had a fox that used to lie by their front door, or near their front door. She says she does think that it wasn't well because it was very scrawny. I think a fox is a creature that I am happy to see from a distance. That's for sure. I don't think I'd want to see one close up. Okay, I accidentally picked up 2 diamonds then, and it decided to just drop one on the canvas right in a place where it should have gone. Couldn't have placed it better if I tried. So thank you for helping me with my diamond painting to this pen. It is much appreciated. I've just managed to pick up 2, but they didn't settle as nice. Trying to make sure that I get a straight edge here. I feel like I'm going off a little bit, though it'll fix itself on the next few sections. I'm sure it'll get a bit better as it goes along. This is the next, well, this is probably the next biggest colour that I need to do, and then I get to fill in lots of little bits, which will be good. Tracy, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she hopes that me and the family are well. We are, thank you. She says a tip for multi-placing. She says which she too can only do it vertically. She said is to turn your tray 90 degrees so that when you're picking up your drills, they're in the same orientation that you will place them down. She says rather than twisting your wrist. I have actually been doing that since, Tracy. I think it was your comment that I did read coming through on an email, and I have been twisting the tray. So because I tend to place or multi-place vertically, what I have been doing is tipping my tray this way. So I'm, again, going across very... Oh, then there is also a comment from TJ. She also says, if it's a different TJ, because Tracy has got a surname with a J, she also says when she does multi-placing, she has her tray vertical as well as placing vertical. Then you don't have to rotate your pen all the time. So yes, I have tried that since, and it definitely does help when I've got loads of sections to do, loads of parts that I can multi-place. I find it really useful. If I've got one place that I can multi-place, I don't tend to, but that's because for one, by the time I've turned my tray and then turned it back again to single place, I may as well have just twisted my pen and be done. But yeah, thank you for that. I love all these tips and tricks that everybody shares. It's not just me that comes up with the tips and tricks. Quite often tips and tricks do come from subscribers and from the Facebook group and things like that, and it is things that get passed on and get passed around, and yeah, many of us benefit from it, which is really, really good. That's what it's all about. Sharing the knowledge, sharing the love. Grey Legrand, she says, me too. She vertical places. She says vertical multi-placing for her only. She also says she is double dipping for June Waffle. That's a different kind of phrase. I think that phrase can mean different things in different places. But she says for the June Waffle and diamond painting for pets event. She says she has already kitted up, and she thinks she's going to go ahead and action it all out with cover paper. Sheets. She says she has bought a 30 by 40 budget diamond painting of a chickadee on willows. She says, albeit only 20 colours. Well, this one only has 18 colours. And I still think it depends on the image, but I definitely think you can get an amazing image with both a low amount of colours and a high amount of colours. I think it really depends on how they've been used in creating a painting. She says she's also placed an order for some ABs and some crystals. Yeah, crystal rhinestones is the next thing that I want to start adding in to some of mine, and not just sticking with adding ABs. Adding ABs is an easy one. I want to see if I can get away with adding some that are a little bit different and see how they turn out. Experiment with it all. We're getting some purple ribbon. Jess, so this is a comment on my Heaven and Earth design painting. She said, amazing progress. She says she's starting to get excited for me. Thank you, though I think it's pushed back to probably August by the time I'll finish my Heaven and Earth design. I actually haven't had a chance to work on that at all these past couple of weeks either. I've got the odd one in, but nowhere near as much as I normally do. So I'll be kicking myself back into that again next week to try and keep the momentum going and stop June just becoming a month where I don't touch it at all, or hardly touch it, because it is so close to getting finished, yet so far. She says, nothing beats a finish, which is true. I absolutely love starting a painting, but I do love finishing a painting. Just get the whole success factor. And she said, and after so much time, she says, finishing the Heaven and Earth design will be so sweet. Yes. I mean, if I finish in August, I think it was August of 2022 that I got to the halfway point on my Heaven and Earth design. Got halfway in 2022 and completed a full half of it, or the other half of it, in 2023. So yeah, it's definitely sped up rather than slowing down again. But yeah, it's going to be an absolutely amazing finish. I can't wait. I really can't. Okay, quick change of my battery before it decides to shut me off mid-sentence. Elizabeth says, good evening, Rebecca. She says she finds it fascinating watching me place the drills in on my Heaven and Earth design cross-stitch conversion. She said she basically understands what I'm doing. She says, but for her to try would be a different story. She's just kitted up Bubblegum Spaniel for DP Pet in June. She says she's currently working on All Dogs Go to Heaven by Mandy Manzano. For May, Mandy Madness. And the Peacock for Barn Life 23. Oh my goodness me, how many events are popping up here, there and everywhere. Been hearing about quite a few different events recently. She says she loves watching my videos. She says keep up the great work and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. I hope, well, maybe you are, maybe you're not, maybe you're joining in on the June Waffle, combining it with, which was it, DP Pet for June. I'm guessing we will have a few completed images of pets at the end of this June Waffle from people that have been joining in with both of them. But that's fine, as long as you are carving your time out each day for a little bit of me time. If you get the chance, of course, like my video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That'll definitely help in relation to upcoming giveaways. And being subscribed doesn't cost you a thing, but it really, really helps my channel out. It helps me to be able to keep giving and doing multiple videos that take quite a bit of time each week, but multiple videos that is free content. Yeah, it's things like that that help us to, of course, grow and be able to get a little bit of something back. Believe me, YouTube does not pay me enough to not work at all. It's hard work on other aspects that allow me to do this all full time, but YouTube is the smallest part of it. So hitting that subscribe really, really helps. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps me out. So if you, your family members, anybody you know wants to hit subscribe, that will really, really help. And if you hit like on any videos that you watch and like, that will also help. Right, L is done. That felt so weird. Yet again, putting a tray back without tipping the diamonds back into the pot is kind of freaking me out. I think the only reason I'm coping with this is because I'm actually tipping diamonds into a tray. I wonder how tomorrow's section is going to be when I'm not tipping diamonds, or maybe not as much tipping diamonds into a tray. Because at the moment I'm just tipping in them as I need them. Be kind of interesting in how long it takes for me to have diamonds in every single tray. Whether that's something that will happen within the first few days or whether it'll actually take a while. I haven't yet looked at what section I have for tomorrow. I have figured them all out, and I have made sure that a Facebook post is going up each night to let you guys know the section, so that if you only get to diamond paint in the morning and my video doesn't come on till the afternoon, then you can still do the same section if you want to. But I've just had a quick glance at the sections while I was changing the battery, and there is one of them, number 6, that is primarily white. White. I'm wondering if that should be the day that I try multi-placing and see how quick I can do it, or whether I just single place the whole lot. Who knows? Sparkle Sherry, she says hi from Texas. She says, how do you get, so this is a Heaven and Earth design question. She said, how do you get a solid finish block on your finish placements when you swipe it? I'm not quite sure so When I use Pattern Keeper, when I select the stitches that I've done, it will Pattern Keeper colours them in for me. So if I move to show a sections that I've already done, then they will be colour blocked. Other than that, I don't get, if it's just that, then it's just the automatic way that Pattern Keeper works. It colours things in for me as I go along. I want this one, 153. I seem to just be working, these are the colours that I've done so far. All the beginnings of the purples and indeed pinky colours now. Let's get that hitchhiker out of there. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but any solid block that you see that is sort of coloured in is a section that I've done, and it just shows that on the whole of my tablet as I go along and finish it off. If it's not, do just ask again, and I'll try and answer it correctly. Right, well that felt weird. I tipped a load of diamonds out for one little bit, but I suppose that's the idea of it all. Okay, so I want this dot. So that is this tray, and it is actually 340. Just remember, I can tip out loads. Get myself a nice little selection going on. Suppose if I ever miss a symbol as I'm doing this, having all the colours in the tray will be loads easier to fill it in. Got any more of those? Yes, we've got a couple here. Okay, so I've filled all this dot down here. So let's go for number 7. I'm going to pull these forward because I reckon I'm going to be in and out of these loads. So number 7 is 800. Tip a load of those out. There's not too many that we need of these. But number 7. Done. How easy would my Heaven and Earth design be if I could do that? Right, number 6 is 799. Get those lined up. I only need 3 of these as well. Normally I'd have been tipping them into little lids. So that's done. Number 3, 809. Oh, that must be over here. I was like that. My trays only go up to 800. It's because they're over here with all the higher ones. Forgot about those. 809, number 3. Little bits, little wispy bits of blue. There we go. Then we have the letter A, which is 552. Quite a few of these going on. Athena says she loves watching my Heaven and Earth design videos. Thank you. She says she'd love to do one herself. She says the most daunting part, she said, is sourcing all the diamonds. She says maybe soon. A lot of people when doing Heaven and Earth design do buy all the diamonds. There is nothing against you buying the diamonds at all. And buying it as sort of, you know, a little piece together of your own kit. I just chose to try and do the whole thing with spares, though I did buy a couple of diamonds. Sorry, I want that arrow that goes back on itself. I haven't got any others hidden underneath, so it's definitely me not seeing it for looking. It's there. Yeah, so you definitely don't have to. Sometimes it can be handy for the diamonds that you don't need many of at all. Like some of them you only need 10 of. or something ridiculous like that. For those ones, it can be handy to see if you've got them in your spares, just to save you from having to, you know, buying some and actually ending up with loads left over. That's the main reason that can be handy to do. But otherwise, yeah, just buy the diamonds and do it that way. Right, I'm definitely on double checking what I was doing then, because I was talking at the same time as trying to kit up diamonds in a new and different way. It's taken me a minute. So 3752. All these lids are really good at staying shut, but it is a habit that I have got into because I don't want them to go everywhere. So I've got all those diamonds nicely lined up and I'm placing one. Be so much easier next time though. Right, now I want this slash one. That's 3837. I've definitely had all three colours out of here now though. So let's put that back. And that is my little slash. And then I want the up arrow. So I have very nearly used every single colour in this one. I think, looking in my trays, there is 2 colours that I've not used in this section. So I've used 16 different colours in this one section. So take your guesses as to how many days it will take me to finish those last 2. But I'm just giving these a little bit of a nudge, straighten myself up, but my first section is done. We'll see how long this video is when I get to put it all together. But thank you so much to Janet Morris for my pen for today. I'll keep going, say, through comments, questions. Basically, I'll be going oldest to youngest comments as they go along. Some days will be more chatty than others, especially ones where I have a lot more white than others. So if I move this back, I don't know if you can see section number 6 up here. We have got a little bit of other colours, but of course there's a lot of white on that one. And it really depends. There's quite a few with a chunk of white, but then there's quite a few where we get a nice chunk of some purples and blues going in as well. But yeah, join me tomorrow for day 2 of June Waffle. Any comments, questions, anything like that on anything discussed or a new discussion point that you want, do drop them in the comments below. And in a few days, as we move along this painting, I will read them out and answer any questions. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow.